Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Trekyards. He is Commander Cockings.
He's Captain Foley.
And does it feel like we're stalking you? Are we here every week, every Saturday for the last 10 years, plus multiple times during the week? It could be perceived that we're stalking you.
Or, if you've watched every one of those videos, are you not stalking us? That's like thousands of videos.
Yeah.
Even we don't watch our own content in that same way, because we made it. We have to watch it. We made it.
And if you're not stalking us, go watch all of our past catalog of stuff and just like it all. We'd appreciate that.
Stu both judges you and encourages you. Stu,
Yes!
what are we looking at today?
A Klingon ship called, get this, the Stalker.
There we go.
Yeah.
Now, does the name fit the purpose? Don't know. So it's another game ship from the Legacy archive, as in the game Legacy. So game asset, older asset, but guess what? At this time, that was the end of sort of the interplay game series. Before that was the end of the golden age of Trek games, when a lot of the designs were rather good, both logical and faithful and interesting and different and often repeated shapes, etc., or inspired by FASA. Kind of all the above. Before I don't know, right? More modern games don't know. So here's the Stalker. I've seen it before because I've done the rendering. What do you think? Now you're looking at.
I love this. It seems like a advancement or like the refit or the next gen of like remember we looked at the Starfleet Battles Klingon B10, which was a dreadnought that had 4 nacelles within nacelles, much like this. This seems like an advancement on that, but it's probably an older design. Well, I don't know when this fits in the timeline necessarily. The B10 is from like the TOS era, so the 2266 kind of thing.
Yeah,
but
also that was designed in a time when they only could kit bash. They weren't designing all the new things. This is built far newer. My assumption was the design it looks refit era. Looks like Kronos 1, just a different side slant. I think the bulkiness of the nacelles would be my guess. I mean, really, the design is very simple, but we've looked at a lot of game ships. The texturing often makes or breaks, and they've got some pretty complicated yet flowing texturing. So it kind of feels more than I think it has any right to feel, given how simple the polygon count is.
Yeah, I love the shape of the front head part there. It looks like it can detach, actually, and become like a small little warp ship. Looks like it just plugs right into that neck socket, which is kind of cool, honestly. The other thing I really like and really appreciate is the asymmetry of the windows at the back. I think that looks really cool as well.
Yeah.
Almost seems like a TOS computer display with like, just imagine those all blinking.
I mean, maybe that's the dance party floors. No, I like this. It is very much, as we said in the previous episodes, it's the box of the Klingon design aesthetic, but then doesn't do something new. This one is definitely, let's change all the shapes, but then sort of round them off artistically with what Klingons are, right? So I can see a Klingon nacelle by having those end caps. I see the front head because of basic shapes, even though it's been all been shifted. It's got a neck, but it has more details. It's a nice form. Definitely not the mission profile of any ship we've seen. This has a distinct, it's doing its own thing vibe. I wonder what it's classed as. I'm not quite sure. What would you, has any guess based on how it feels?
Well, with the name Stalker, I would assume this is probably like a scout or like a light cruiser kind of vibe that's small and can maybe like maneuver and kind of keep an eye on things. Probably has cloaking ability as well. I just get a sense that it's like sneaking around in the background, kind of keeping an eye on things.
Yeah, I'm wondering. I mean, I didn't even notice it. I've rendered this thing, the second set of nacelles below the head, but also the way the main warp engines are. There are so many glow elements which imply it's doing more versus the simple standard Klingon ones. So I'm wondering if this command with the smaller nacelles is stalking, as in it's designed to stay following a ship at high warp as long as it needs to. It's not the norm. The Klingons don't tend to prioritize that sort of function set. So if this is like, if you need to chase a ship and keep up with it for 10 hours, this thing is the bad boy you send, right?
And with those other nacelles, you could basically swap out from let them cool down, because we all know that they have their maximum emergency warp, but it's like limited to 6 or 12 hours. That could be the case here too. Just maybe slower speeds from the other ones, but.
Classic Horizon, my fan design Horizon. That's the logic, right? But no, I like it. But I definitely want to see more views to understand what's going on, because it definitely has a more armored feel. But that might just be a curved protecting the top versus the whole ship fill? Let's find out, or let's continue. So, that's a different view. The back side.
More angular back here. Well,
Yeah.
I really like it. I like the plate details. I like the nacelles. The glows actually are really cool, and I love that they maintain the Klingon style end caps for the nacelles.
Yeah, so from this view, the bonus, well, the only curved details that connect near the neck feel like giant forward-facing cannons. Didn't get that sense from the last view, but here it feels like they're distinct in that approach.
Definitely looks tough. Looks very robust.
Yeah, having the big, where normally you have the engine shuttle pod looking section at the top, now it's just this hard edge, which gives it this sort of big bulk shoulders feel, like right there, which makes it feel like they're more robust. But the fact that it goes out so far, bounce out the shape well, you don't need the other detail to still have that feel. So I like that. Yeah.
I really like the way those forward nacelles look as well. Just they seem tacked on, but at the same time they work with that design and the way they're shaped as well. I'm glad they're not shaped like the back ones, just smaller versions, which is what the B10 basically did.
So they're functionally tacked on.
That's fun.
Yes. I also want to commend that I like the choice of doing the sort of the two-tiered, two-styled pylons by having the main section, which had that been it'd have been too thin. The second section being just a grilling, just detailing, but it balances out the shapes really well while still giving a certain sleekness feel while doing something else. It's kind of, it's just textures, right, to change it, but it does change the feel quite a bit, and I like it.
Mm-hmm. No, I do like this design, the shape. I like it. It's a good looking ship.
Same but different, which is often a big success point. Let's look at the top and bottom. This is the shape I recall from seeing, but very different top and bottom. Just the aesthetic. The bottom view, the amount of curved and non-detailed that is, feels very much to me like the Independence Day fighter, or reminds me of that, this organic curved fighter, which is not the top vibe on the top.
Oh, yeah, I see that now.
So what do you think? It's really an interesting choice.
Well, again, as we see with a lot of these game ships, but just the nature of the beast, I think, is that the bottom is very much not as detailed, not as intricately greebled up. But I do like everything about this, even those forward nacelles. Again, I'm gonna draw attention to those. I like that because it doesn't feel like a tacked on thing. It kind of works with the overall design.
It was not tacked on, but it's tucked in. It feels integrated as part of the design language.
But it really looks like that front whole ship can just separate and be its own thing.
It has to be, right? That's such a clear design aesthetic. You know, the source separation, the captain's yacht. And I've not seen this approach before. Having a clear, you probably haven't got it, but in England, there's all the shopping carts at all the big supermarkets have a lock and key system. You put a pound in, and then you connect a lock to a key, and then it unlocks it. It kind of has that exact mechanism of going in.
Yes, we have that here.
It isn't an exact mirror, though. We looked at a Cardassian ship, you and me, recently, and it was interesting to see at the end, the textures were just the same, but the top and bottom aren't the same here. They're similar, but they don't feel identical, which would have been a quick and easy thing to do, but they are a bit different. So I'm wondering, that gives an intentionality feeling to the bottom, and yet it is that simple and under-detailed. What do you think?
Well, I think if you're talking about the Cardassian ship we just looked at, that was for Armada, which is basically just top down.
Yes.
So it didn't really matter what the bottom looked like. This with Legacy, you can bank and you can see the bottom of the ship, so it kind of makes more sense that they would make it a little different. But yeah, I see what you mean, because there's decidedly different details, especially on those struts and things. So,
missing Klingon pennants, because that would have been a nice thing. Katinga has a big symbol at the bottom. That would be, a different shape, of course, would have been a nice thing to have to kind of just boom some detail, and nothing on the pylons either. So that's a weird thing to miss.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I'm having a hard time finding a shuttle bay. I mean, we might see one at the rear or something, but I do see the big impulse engine in the middle, which I like the shape. It looks really good, but
intrigued. I mean, you could easily, it says maritime, have drop pod style shuttle bays. There's infinite space kind of at the bottom, open up and drop out. But let's continue this look. The side, front, and back. Goodness. Those are 3 entirely different views. Wow.
Now I'm questioning whether that's an impulse engine with that big red impulse engine thing at the back bottom. The front is quite impressive. It's very stocky. Doesn't seem as sleek as the other views. It feels very blocky. Well, not blocky, but like, you know what I mean? It's
Bulky.
chunky.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
hefty.
Yeah, chunky. Yeah.
Side view, I like. I mean, I wish the boom was down a bit more, but because I thought those protrusions on the side were basically the same height. But I think it works in the grand scheme of things.
It's amazing how just a little bit of angle helps balance. Having the back hump makes a huge difference, and having the nacelles integrate with the front, it kind of gives the whole thing a vibe of almost one long shape versus the separation. Where I think you're right, if had there not been the nacelles, the ball should have been bigger to balance out the shape, but it kind of flows. So it's different, but I think the side view is good. The front view is crazy. It really is like they said, right, we've got an aircraft carrier or an aircraft hangar, let's shove some pylons in. But that's the thing, it's like a tortoise, right? It's just a giant amount of volume. But it is a deceptive view, because so many things are back and forth. It is a deceptive view.
It's funny you said tortoise, because I thought tortoise as soon as I saw the front of this thing. So.
Yeah.
But it looks like a bruiser or a brawler. Like,
yeah.
I wouldn't want to see this come out of warp in front of my ship. It'd be like, oh.
But the LGs don't feel that, so it's very optical illusion. It's like the casting ship again felt like a galore front, but then not the other views. Back shot, I'm assuming the middle bit, the bit is a torpedo launcher and the top is the impulse. But that doesn't make either way sense. Neither does the reverse, in fairness.
Yeah, and no shuttle bays that I can see. No weapons, by the looks of it, on the front either. I wish there would be like torpedo launchers in those protrusions. Unless those forward nacelles aren't nacelles and those are cannons.
There's enough details to warrant that. I mean, I feel like there are those red glows either side near the pylons. Those are forward torpedo launchers, I would guess, if there's a bigger ship, potentially, or at least disruptors. But yeah, I'm shocked there's nothing at the tip of those 2 protrusions. Like, those will obviously be torpedo launchers, and had they both been Star Trek bird of prey style tubes, that would have been okay. Great, 2 torpedo launchers, I'd buy it, right?
Even it's lacking one in the head section, which would make perfect sense to put one there.
And we've seen many of these ships that, as in game assets, that still include a very low resolution texture detail of what it should be. The fact it's missing entirely says it's missing entirely. Yeah, very strange. But let's continue. This ship's much better than 3/4. It has an elegance that the other views don't quite have. Again, it feels like the Independence Day ship just docked at the bottom. This one's even closer.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Again, lack of detail on the bottom, but I don't mind that. I mean, you don't have to gussy it up with anything. I do wish there was that Klingon emblem, like you said, would be kind of the piece de resistance. But for shuttle bays or like launch tubes, you can see like on either side of the neck there. I wonder if it's a stretch, but I just wanted to point that out.
Giant Colonial Vipers launching.
Yes. Or little small Independence Day fighters.
Yeah. The big one's the mothership, yeah. But there is something to be said for, we're judging the bottom based on lack of detail versus the top, but TOS and Star Trek Trials and Tribulations, that is very in keeping with the detail they'd have. So, right, it just feels slightly out of place given the rest of the detail, but in fairness, it's not bad.
I want to see that front module be detached and look at it as its own ship, because that's kind of cool.
Be wild. Oh, kind of like the Dauntless from... If you smooth out the pointy bit, it'd be the Dauntless from Voyager, as in from Prodigy.
A little bit, yeah.
How far back themselves are, and they kind of curve with the
yeah.
But this is a good view. This would look good in a film. A TOS ship coming out of warp and being like, no, yeah, it'd be effective. Next view is one we haven't looked at yet. The back. This is definitely more category. I'm not sure exactly why.
I like the grilling details that they got.
Whatever it does.
I just wish there was a shuttle bay detail.
Clearly, there's a space for it.
Yeah.
I can see it.
Right?
Definitely impulse engine at the top, which is weird, and the bottom bit must be a giant torpedo, maybe a plasma torpedo. Maybe they inspiration from the Romulans. Don't know, because it's like a quarter the size of the ship. But hey, why not? But I do like the way the neck is extended with both a central tube of curved detail and then these bigger, bolder details. It's a nice balance of shapes that just works to give it a oomph feel. It's nice.
Mm-hmm. That kind of solves the problem a lot of people have with the Katinga and the D7 of like, neck is a weak point. Well, now it's armored on each side, so not really.
But the tube is even more vulnerable.
I know it is.
Don't shoot the tube.
I don't know. I think that rear, I can't see that being a weapon. To me, that just
what else can it be?
Large impulse engine. I don't know.
Next view though is, I mean, again, it's got to be a launcher, a ridiculously oversized, silly-looking launcher.
It just this view, even the cone, the conical thing at the taper, right? This looks very much like a jet fighter, just a nozzle.
Oh, like an over.
Yeah, like an afterburner.
Which actually, you're saying that, and it sounded silly for a second, but the detail of the extrusion is the curve of the under curve. So that's detailed conceptually is that entire thing, and that is not a giant torpedo arrangement. So possibly it is a hyper impulse engine.
Yes. Sure. Yeah. But Stalker. Maybe there's a reason. Like it can pounce really quick, go from 0 to full impulse like instantly. So jump from behind an asteroid and like catch right up on you. I don't know.
Sure, the race car. Yeah, definitely a less impressive view, but I mean, if that's armor, I wouldn't want to shoot the underside. Yeah, first view, last view. Yeah.
A really impressive design. I really do like this.
Well, it feels designed. A lot of these ships have felt kit bashed or maneuvered. This has a lot of differences and yet super faithful.
Oh, I like it. I like it a lot.
It is definitely begging for a high quality redo where you add those last few details to. There's not many areas that are honestly lacking, which is kind of amazing, but give it some depth. As I was about to say, the plating on the pylons make stuff that should be raised, give the grilling at the back more three-dimensionality. You'd really up the ante for this ship in terms of how real it would feel while not being quite smooth. Maybe that detract from it, possibly the TOS feel, or it'd give it that much needed depth that this would benefit from. And as you say, see the front ship kind of launch like the Nostromo in Alien. It kind of comes out front, gives me that vibe as well.
Those are our thoughts on this ship, guys, but we want to hear yours. So use the comment section down below to do just that. Let us know what you're thinking and whether you like this ship or not, or if you've used this ship in the game, Star Trek Legacy. Also, make sure you subscribe to our channel. We appreciate that immensely. And make sure you click the notification bell icon so you get notified when we go live or do edited content like this. Because, as I said at the beginning of this, we've been doing this for 10 years now, and hopefully there'll be another 10 years after this. So subscribe and help us out with our analytics for YouTube.
And if you want to support what we do here, let us be that ambitious and bring you all the greatest, latest, newest, coolest, sexiest ships in Trek and beyond. Then support us on Patreon if you can. Each and every bit of support each month is massively important. Or if you don't have Patreon, they can join us on YouTube. Use the join button. Same thing, monthly. Each and every little bit of support adds up. Or one-time donations via PayPal, trekyards@hotmail.com. Or you can support us by super chatting on lives, which we love because we love that interactive, bouncy conversation. Also, with thanks on any video. Again, super useful. And we thank you a lot in advance.
That's right. So until next time, he is Commander Cockings.
He's got a Foley.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.